we are alive. Okay, guys, happy to see you back. We are going to continue working with our favorite thing, no limit poker hold'em. So you already know the drill from the first video that we're going to study. I think for approximately 50 or 100 videos out of position play when we open up, and the guy maybe on the cutoff, maybe on the button, maybe on the MP, the guy calls, okay? Most possibly it's gonna be on the button, the most often calls that we happen to have versus our UTG open. Because MP likes to 3-bet more, and cutoff very often 3-bets as well. But anyway, it doesn't matter like where the guys call you, like on what position they are. What important is that you have to know like what you are going to do for the particular board and with your range. Okay, so look here. I from the past session that I had, don't look here. To be honest, like I played plus EV, plus $40 in EV, but you go all in a couple of times, and sometimes you get overrun. Never think about this. Just understand that you played correctly, and this is great, right? Okay, so look here. We have plenty of hands here that I filtered, and these are all out of position opens on UTG. And as you can see, by the way, a couple of hands that I folded here, like to 2, because we have a very small amount of hands that we open, right? Approximately 15% of 2-2, which is less than one combination. And Queen 9, as you can see, I sometimes fold this hand in position, right? I mean, like, not in position, of course. Out of position on UTG when I open. So I fold this hand 50% of the time. And here we have some nice hands here that we have, look here, right? So we're going to, I want personally to go through some of them. Look, we opened and with 4 of them we got to the flop. I think they're all interesting to see, to check like what we do there, and to work with them. Okay, so as always, what you have to start with is to know your opening range. My opening range is approximately 15%, not approximately, but precisely. And I open up these hands, right? I open 35% of ace-10 offsuit. This is always good to go through your ranges, when you work with hands. Okay, open up king-queen offsuit. Okay, open up these boys. Open up these suited aces. 50% of ace-2 suited. I open up king-9 suited, usually. If the board is tough and there are a lot of 3-bets, I don't open them. Okay, then I don't open these guys. Here I open 50%, as I told you, of Queen 9 suited. Okay, then 25% of my suited low connectors. Great. Okay, 25% of 5-5 and 15% of these little babies. Great, so this is my range. 198.4 combinations, as you can see. Great, we're going to work with this one. Good. Now let's start with the hand that we have here, right? Oh, with this board. Look, this board I think is very wonderful. 8-4 queen. Very nice dry board. Actually very good one to understand and analyze your ranges and structurize them. Okay, so 8 of, I cannot see very well. Let me double click on it. Okay, flop. 8 of diamonds, 4 of hearts, and queen of spades. Let's open them up. Okay. 8 of diamonds. Yeah, 8 of diamonds. And queen of 4 of hearts. 4 of hearts and queen of clubs. Oh, sorry, spades. Okay, good. Now we are here, so we have this range. Look here, I don't yet put the button range here, as I told you, because we're not starting the calling range yet, and we're not going to go forward beyond the flop, right? We're not going to see the turn. That's why for us it is not that important like what the guy calls with. We at the moment imagine that everyone plays perfect poker here, okay? It is never true in life. No one plays perfectly in life, right? But it will help us to build good, strong basics for understanding how to play hands. And later on, you can adapt to your opponents. Okay, good. So look here. We have so far. Okay, where is it? How to open to see the number of hands that I have here. Oh yeah, here. So look here. I have so far approximately, well, not approximately, but precisely 178.95 hands that we have, combinations. I open up one of my best friends here, the friend called Calculator. Okay, I drag it here so that you can see this. And according to the book that I told you about, this one, when we have advantage on the board, and I think we do have an advantage here, yeah, we're going to bet approximately 60% of our range, okay? So why do I think that we have an advantage here? Because, look, we have a lot of ace-queen in our opening range. Have a lot of queen-queen, king-king, ace-ace. We have a lot of king-queen, right? And we have a lot of eights. The only thing that our opponent has a little bit more, possibly sets of fours, right? And he has less of queen queen. He has less of ace queen. He has less of king king and ace ace. Why? Because he should 3-bet them, right? So this is pretty logical to me. Yeah, this is my cat on the background. Okay, good. So I think we do have an advantage here. That's why we can work according to our plan, according to our strategy. That is 178.95. We multiply by 0.6, which will make 60% of the hands. 107 hands that we have to c-bet. Good, so this is the number that you have to stick to approximately. But what is more important is, first, you have to identify your value bets, okay? Now, let's see what I'm definitely going to value bet here. Okay, well, not definitely. Let's see what our value bets are. Queen, queen, great. 8-8, perfect. 4-4, very small amount here, 0.45, but we definitely bet it here. Okay. Great. Now, what else? Let's see. Ace-ace, for sure. We want to charge our opponent's queens. The opponent might have king-queen, queen-jack, right? Ace-queen, possibly. So I'm going to bet these guys. Good. I'm going to bet ace-queen. They are very strong and charge weaker queens. I'm going to bet possibly king-queen suited, king-queen offsuit. I will think about this. I really like to bet them here. I just think that the king-queen of clubs possibly is more like maybe to check call. Maybe I can check call with it more. Oh wait, no, vice versa. With king-queen of diamonds, king-queen of hearts, I think I can check call more. Why? Because every time when I play out of position, I imagine that the opponent has possibly sets. He has a set of eights, he has a set of fours here, and if I'm going to grow the pot significantly, then the opponent will be benefiting from this, right? Getting benefits from this. That's why I want to think, okay, how can I actually defend and stand against my opponent's bets, and how can I come out a winner if my opponent does have sets, right? So why king queen of clubs is a very good bet here? I think because it might make our opponent fold his draw flushes, runner draws, right? Runner flushes. And at the same time, king queen of hearts, king queen of diamonds they might be good to check call, or maybe bad sometimes. Sometimes check call, because if your opponent does have a set, you can still catch your flush, and you can stand his second barrel, that is the bet on the second street on the turn, right? And you can still win. Okay, good. But so far, let me see. Very strong hands that I have here are all these hands. Okay. Now, these queens are already weaker. Queen Jack, Queen 10, Queen 9. I think they stand very well against our opponent's bluffs that he might have, as well as against our opponent's stronger hands. Like, for example, sets. Like, for example, Queen King, right? Like, for example, Ace Queen. So they stand very well against those bets. Okay, good. So I identified all my value bets. So this is approximately this number, 42.45. Now, if I take this number and multiply by 2, 42.45, we multiply by 2 to find out how many bluffs we should have, right? Okay, multiply by 2, 84, almost 85, right? So this number plus the number of value bets that I have here plus 42.45 will make us this number, 127. But in the beginning, if you remember, we had the number of 107. So as you can see, we do overbet here, right? So we need to find out what hands actually are really good to just check call here, or maybe check raise. Because as you can see, this number of 127, we overbet 20 combinations. Okay, so I think that these queens are so strong, this set of queens, that I don't want to bet them. I want to possibly check call with them. They are the strongest on the board, right? And they're not that scared of seeing the next card. Okay, the board is kind of dry and kind of not dry. The opponent might have 9-10 suited. The opponent might have 6-7 suited. Kind of very dangerous still, but I think queens are very strong, and it is good to call with them here. If you see the opponent is a calling station, maybe you want to bet all of it. Okay, but I want to keep balance so far, so I want to check call with them. I'm gonna check call them. Okay, good. Now I have smaller amount here of the hands. Good. I need even more hands to check call. I want to check call with these guys. King, Queen. Let me see. I think, yeah, King, Queen here are good to check call, especially of hearts and clubs. So I'm gonna put them in my check calling range. Wait. Yeah, like this. Good. I think this is good. And as for this one, King, Queen, I want to bet this King, Queen 50% of the time. And 50% of the time I will be check calling with them. Because why not? It feels reasonable sometimes to balance, not to always be aggressive. If you are always aggressive, the opponent might catch you with their sets, right? So I will be betting 50% of the time with these, and 50% of the time I'm gonna be calling. Good. Okay, now look here. So the number of the hands that I have here, my value bets, comes approximately to 33. Multiply by 2 to find out how many bluffs you have. That is 66. Great, so this is the number of bluffs. This is the number of value bets, plus 33. So 99. And this is approximately the number that we need to get. So as you remember, the number was 107. We are around that number. But what is very important, we don't overbet, you see? So we're less exploitable for the opponent, right? We're not so aggressive. We need to have some stronger hands in our check range, right? So I think these are great candidates all over it. I think you can do the same with Ace Queen. I prefer usually to bet with them. They are really good and very strong to charge. Remember, your opponent might even have Jack Jack. Your opponent might have 10-10. They will never fold them. They will just pay money to you. That's exactly how you earn this money. That's exactly how you grow the pot. Okay, so you are going to bet these hands. Good. Charge right here, right now. Good. Now, as far as we have this amount of hands that are going to be our value bets, right? Now you can think, okay, so what hands are good to bluff? As always, I always check first all my gut shots and straight draws, then flush draws. But on this board, you see, it is hard to see flush draws here, right? Only runner flush draws. Good, so let's start with our bluff draws. I will use this pink color for bluff c-bet. And now let me see. First, 10-9 suited. Great bluff here, I think. Jack-9 suited. Great bluff. Jack-10 suited. Still perfect bluff. All these three guys are really good. Really good bad boys. Okay, what else? I think so. Some of these suited connectors, like 7-6 suited. Great bluff. 6-5 suited. Very good bluff as well. Okay, so you see we have only one combination of these guys. 14. Very far from our from our 66 number, right? Let's see what else can we bluff here. I think we can bluff here. Let me see. Something like runners. I think some of our runners. I think some of the top hands I can bluff here. I think, yeah, maybe these ace king exactly are good bluffs here, right? Especially actually all of them that are suited, I think good bluffs, because we can catch an ace, we can catch a king, we can catch a strong flush draw, and with ace king of clubs, sorry. With the ace king of clubs, we just fold out our opponent's hands that did not hit anything here. And if he calls, I think then ace king of clubs, if we don't catch anything, we're going just to check fold. Yeah, but so far here on the flop, we're going to bluff bet it. Okay, as for this ace king, I think, yeah, we might do this as well and just bet everything here. But you know, I think this is a little bit too much, maybe, of bluffs. Maybe I want to check call some of them. I don't know yet. I want to think about this. What else is great bluff here? I think these fours, this third pair, I think is always great to kind of see bet and bluff, you know. Why? Because it really puts pressure on our opponent's second pair, plus on some of his pocket pairs, like 5-5, 6-6, right? And at the same time, we can catch another ace, we can catch another 4, and we will be really good, standing very strongly on turn. So I really like to bet these guys. Especially, look here, ace-4 of spades, ace-4 of diamonds, because they can catch still a running flush draw, right? And you will be very strong. Maybe you will get the best flush on the board by river. So I think they are really good. Now, the number is 33. Okay, this is already much better, but we need more here. So I think the next great candidates to bluff here are going to be maybe these ace-3, ace-2, ace-5. Because we are dancing around these 4, so we maybe want to have some lower card here and get a chance for another bluff bet on the turn, right? Or maybe we'll have a flush draw and we can maybe bluff bet with the flush draw, right? So I think these guys, but pay attention, not with clubs, right? Clubs don't work here for us. I think more like these guys, they are very strong. We might have a lot of beautiful combinations coming out here. If we strike a 5, a 4, or a 3, right? Or a 2. So I think these hands are gonna be playing very well. Okay, good. So sounds logical to me. Have 40. I still need more. I think it will be great to bluff some of our Broadway hands. Some of our Broadway hands, I think, are really good candidates to bluff here. as well, I suppose, without clubs. So I will mark them. Okay, looks reasonable to me. Yeah, looks reasonable. Because if we catch another 10 or jack or king, we can either check call if it is the second pair, or we can still see bet if it is a flush draw, or we can see bet if it is a straight draw, right? So I think they're really good. Now the number is this 52. What else? You can adopt some of these guys to bluff, right? And it will automatically fill up your quota. I think actually that's what we might possibly want to do. Okay, look, I will put first 50% here to bluff, okay, with these guys. 50%. Why 50? Because I want to think still a little bit more. Maybe I want to adopt some of these guys to bluff, or maybe some of these guys to bluff. Like they just will make our opponent fold some of his hands that are fully empty, and we don't have any pain in our head. Actually, I don't want to bluff with these. Why? Because our opponent already might have a set of 4s and a set of 8s. I think I will fold these two guys. What about these 5, 6, 7? These might be good to bluff as well. Yeah, I think these might be good to bluff. I think these might be good to bluff and might be good to check call here. Yeah, I think so. Why? Because look, we can catch another 6 or 5 and we can continue bluffing here on the turn. And we can strike a set. And we can either check call or see bet, depending on the opponent. Yeah, I think this is reasonable. Now, look here, we have 67.35. And here we have 32.95. I think this is a great balance. And with these ace jacks, I think actually it is pretty reasonable sometimes to fold, sometimes to bet with these guys. It sounds pretty reasonable to me and seems pretty reasonable to me. Now, what am I going to check call here? Look here. So, so far we have ungrouped, so the combinations that are left are around 69.15. 69.15, great. So these are value bets, these are bluff bets, great. I actually have already some in the check calling range that I put there, right? So actually with these guys, I will adopt this number, right? Plus 9.5, 9.5. Okay, so this is the number actually of my cards left. If we don't count this bluff C bet and don't count this value check raise, not check raise, don't look at the check raise, value C bet here, right? So 78.65. Now, I imagine every time, because the opponent is in position, they don't like to bet too much. Just think about this, it is pretty logical. They don't need to bet a lot, they don't need to bet 75%. Why? Because if they're with sets, they already got you anyway. They want you to stay in the game as long as possible. That's why for them, the bet, like 50% bet, seems more reasonable. If they have a bluff, it is still more reasonable for them to bluff just, you know, by betting 50% of the pot, or maybe 33% of the pot. Very often solvers just suggest 33% of the pot, you know, so that the opponent in position, you know, I just imagine myself, I can still strike my, you know, my bluffs, and at the same time I can still, like, if I don't strike my bluffs, I will continue betting with my sets, and on the turn I can bet bigger, right? Because I got the opponent in the pot. So you want your opponent to be in the pot, right? At the same time you want to bet being in position. That's why I imagine every time that the opponent kind of bets 50%. Sometimes very often they bet even smaller. But we will imagine 50%. So as you remember, versus a 50% bet, we will have to defend 67% of our remaining range. So of these hands, right? You cannot just check call everything because I have a lot of really weak hands. So this is the table that I downloaded from upswing poker that I told you about, right? And you can see here just easily, there is a formula, guys, but I don't think you need to calculate all that and go through the formula. If you want, you can find this formula. So far, I prefer to make my life easier. I worked with the formula as well, but like if you have it just like that, you can just remember versus 50%, you have 67% defending range. Good, so let's go back to our hands. Let me see, and we're going to calculate, so 67%, so multiply by 0.67 to get 67%. So out of those hands, we're going to defend 52.69 hands combinations, right? So what are great calls here? As I already marked here, some of my calls, queens are perfect calls, right? Because they're super strong here. 3 combinations. Some of my king queen offsuit, I want to be balanced. I don't want to bet all of them. King queen, king queen, especially with hearts and diamonds. I want to check call them. What else is a great call? All these queens. They still stay strong versus bluffs of our opponents. They can catch the second pair if we call, and if our opponent has like king queen or maybe ace queen. Some of the opponents, they do have it in their calling range, especially offsuit. Okay, I can call everything that is weaker than queen, jacks, 10s, 9s. I think great. Okay, I already have 35 combinations. Let's go on. And I think I am willing to call with some of these 7s and 6s. 50% I bluff bet and 50% I want to call here, like this. Okay, great. I want to call with all my 8s. Okay, they are great as well, I think. I think this is really good. Okay. Now, what else? We have already 42.5, but it is still not enough. We want to call a little bit more, just 10 combinations more. Let's think about this. What can we call? What else can we call with? Some of these ace queen, very strong. Want to charge. Okay. Okay. These guys I want to bluff bet still. I feel like maybe something on the top with ace king is still a good call. Maybe some of these aces are a good call. Some, a small amount. Not kings. Kings are too risky to check call with them. I think with aces it is good to check call sometimes. I think some aces. I'll take maybe 2 or 3 combinations of these aces into my check calling range. Yeah, maybe. Let's do this. 75% we value bet. We decrease a little bit slightly value bets, but that's alright. We're still balanced with our bluff bets. And I think this 25% I'm going to check call. Or check raise, right? Check raising is, seems and sounds even better. Okay, good. 1.5 hands. Great. We need a little bit more, right? Maybe with some of these suited aces, maybe I will call with them. If the opponent is balanced, I think versus that such an opponent, it might be good to check call with some of these, I think, aces. Yeah, I will do that. So I will be check calling 50% of my suited aces. Yeah. Okay, let me do this. Okay, first let me take it out from here, and then let me take it, put it here. Great. Okay, already much better, and the combinations are really strong that I take with me, right? I feel really good about this. Maybe some of these guys, but I'm not that sure about 9s, Maybe some of these guys are good to bluff bet, actually. Yeah. So I come approximately to this number here. And to be honest, there is even more to this, because as you remember, actually, we want to, to check raise something. What do we want to check raise? I think this 4 is great to check raise. For the check raise, I will choose this one, this blue color. 4-4, great for check raise. I think 50% of these 8s are great for check raise. I think 8s are really nice to check raise here because they unblock the opponent's queens, and so the opponent might have a queen and just bet with the queen, and we will catch his queen here with 8s. Really good, I think. Especially super aggressive opponents. So they are super value hands, right? Plus, I think we can actually check raise with some of these aces. So look here, we bet 75% of aces and we check call 25%. Maybe we will bet even slightly less, like 50% of our aces we bet, right? 25% of our aces we check call, and maybe 25% of these aces we check raise. I think this is a good play as well. Sometimes we have to do this and catch our opponent with his queens. I think this is quite good. The only thing is, like, sometimes we'll be suffering versus his sets. But this is kind of fine because this is balanced by our sets that we have here with 8s and 4s. Yeah. If you want to have a little bit even more in your check raise, you can add up some queens, sets of queens. But I would prefer to come to them with them to to turn and river with these queens, to have something super strong in your hand, right, in your in your pocket. Very good. Okay, now what are great bluffs to balance this? Oh, I think this one, 8-7, is a super good bluff raise here. So I will mark it as my bluff raise, okay? But we need a little bit more to that. We need more bluff raises. So I think some of these 7-6 are good to bluff raise as well. If we strike 5, we're good. If we strike a draw flush, we're good to barrel one more time. Yeah, I think this is good. Maybe some of these actually 10-9. This is a very good question, like what to bluff raise. Yeah, oh, I think this treasure. I think this one is really good to check raise. Yeah, these guys are really great. I think this is the one that we need. So with my spades and my diamonds, 4 of spades, 4 of diamonds, I'm going to bluff raise. Okay, first let me take them out of the purple bluff c-betting range. Wait a second. Okay, let me do this. Okay, this is going to be my bluff c-bet, right? And then I take it out and I put it in my check raising range. Good, look here. So now we have already approximately 4 bluff raising hands. I think this is a very wonderful bluff raise here. Okay, good, good. Maybe this one I will add up into my bluff raise. Honestly, feels like I want more to c-bet bluff here with them. I think I will stay like this. Maybe I will dub some of these guys. Sometimes I bet with them, sometimes I bluff raise with them. I think this is reasonable. Yeah. 50%. Exactly 2 combinations I will take, and I will be sometimes bluff raising with them. I will just mark it as 50%, but to be honest, you need to bluff raise, bluff check raise, right? With something that has more potential. So clubs, I think, are not a very good choice here. So I would recommend to take out the clubs and bluff like this. Okay, first I take it out and then I put it here, like this. I took out the clubs here, you see? Clubs, I think, are just good to c-bet bluff. These clubs. I'll just mark it like that. Wait, did I do this? Or I did. Wait. Something went wrong. Sorry for that. Wait, I'll put 50%. I'll do this. Take out 50%. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, good. Okay, now it feels reasonable. Now look here. I have approximately 3 very strong hands that we check raise. These are like 4s, 0.45. These are 8s, 1.5. These are some of our aces, right? And we have great potential to improve immediately if the opponent decides to bet call, you know. So I think we're good. Voila, so I think this is gonna be our range so far. We don't have enough check calls here, as you can see, guys. So you see, this is something to improve on. How to improve? Well, you can check on the solvers. You can check, I can recommend to you one of the solvers. That is this one, GTO Wizard. Yeah, I think you can use this one. It has one free solution per day for everyone. Yeah, you can check it there. Yeah, I was checking some stuff there. So yeah, you can use it. Or you can use some solvers that you just buy once and for all. For example, very often I can use the Flopzilla. Flopzilla? Oh, I'm sorry, not the Flopzilla. It is called GTO Plus. GTO Plus. I just bought it once. Look at that. So this one, GTO Plus. You can use this one, and this one is pretty good. So you just enter your combinations, yeah, your starting range, enter the opponent's range, yeah, the calling range, and then you put the flop that you want to study, and it will calculate, okay? And then you will see how to balance, what to balance. Very easy to use, so I highly recommend. Okay, guys, so far this is it about this hand. I'm going to split this video into several videos to discuss some other hands that we have here, and we will be breaking them down as well. So far I think it is really good to know like how to, I mean, like at least start understanding all these. Pretty logical. And you see, you really need like practice, practice, practice. And look at that, very important actually. Oh, I found one more check call here. Look, ace 8, of course. Of course, ace 8. Nice. Look, now we're better. So very important to fold some stuff, right? Very important to check raise, very important to value bet and so on. So play your game wisely, think about your hands, think about your ranges, stay balanced, good game to you, and have fun.